All right. Generative Server-Driven UI. Raise your hands if you don't know what Server-Driven UI means. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, no worries. First of all, it's me, Victor Carreras. If you want to follow me, and I am in completely different flavors where I am contributing where you can find me. What about if we change the rules how we usually create apps? I mean, because actually when we are creating apps, we usually create the interfaces and the routing. We only use services. Only use services to get information or data from servers. But let's see if we can see other ways to create apps as usually. I want to introduce you a generative UI app. This project is open source. You can scan it if you want. It's created in Flutter. And we will see a part of the app where generative UI is used. Quickly is an app for study. Just to introduce you what it is. With study, it's an open source project where you can, as number says, is for study people. With a Gemini API key, you can create quizzes to check what is your level about something or subject, and also you can study with it from a file, from a context of file, or also just with single text or pictures or whatever. And the study app uses only that part. Not only the information is generated by the AI, also the components and the kind of components. We will have a collection of components, and for that page, the order and the number of components that we will be using is driven by AI. No servers, only AI connection, and at this moment, this is only generative AI. Okay. If we want to do this, first of all, we need something like this. This prompting structure means we have to say, all right, you only have to use this JSON. I have a full list of elements. I hope you return only follow these specific instructions. Also, I am defining each kind of elements, one type, section, title, a lot of them, and we will see what we can do with this. So, if we want to follow this, we need to strict JSON's prompt. As I was saying, only return what I'm expecting, only avail JSON array, also the schema enforcement. So we need to ensure the AI follow our instructions, because otherwise our app will not be loaded. So what happens if we try to do this? Okay, the component list is this. We have three completely different categories. We have text and typography, structured data, and also contextual element. And after this, I am saying how those components are rendered, or my properties. Like this component has these properties, and the values are the list of them. So here is the JSON output in action. And a big, I'm saying, okay, this is only the part of the answer. saying like, okay, I need this JSON with the list of, in a page, I'm gonna need this list of components, and the property of them with values will be storage. Also, we did use .quith file format to cache, because otherwise this will be expensive if each time I have to download it. But I think it will be a clear and simpler version about what we want to get in this with this architecture. But here we have two different UIs for created by AI, and we can see completely different approaches for different information, but it is the same page, but the page is driven by AI. It was the AI who created this. I as app. The app was only a renderer of this. So at this point, we have a generative UI, but there is no servers in the middle. But what about in large-scale apps? What about if we have a big company, or we don't want to have the user requesting AI in a paid version of models? What about if we have models trained by the company itself, and we want to use their... if we want to do this, the evolution is the server in the middle. Server-driven UI is not something new. Maybe if we want to use AI, it's something new, but server-driven UI was created a couple of years ago. So, this is the roadmap. The roadmap is, first of all, instead of AI, a JSON was created. With this JSON, somebody from business, maybe, I have seen different kind of roles doing this. Also from business and somebody technical in the middle, maybe, create a JSON defining the rules, the business rules, about what the user has to see. For example, if they want to see if in some part or category of the users using something, but the hard-coded was hard time. I can talk about a couple big apps using this, both that I can think are multinational around the world, using server-driven UI, and sometimes the renderer was big because there are a lot of components, and also some of them with crashes and a bit nightmare about how the renderer was working. But that story was long years ago. The standard of server-driven UI was something that now I think we can do better if instead to have somebody doing these JSONs, replacing that guy from an AI, creating rules or following steps to create this. Why adopt server-driven UI? If we want to create server-driven UI, we will have instantly updates for our apps, because only will be released a new version if the renderer change. But if the renderer is the same, I mean the components have not been changed, only the server will change, and automatically the apps will be published. Also, there are no more reviews on the stores, no more, ensuring the apps will be consistent, and also for testing proposals will be easier. So, enter generative server-driven UI is we have a server-driven which decides the apps, the routing, and in JSON, in format static. That's the standard server-driven UI that I have seen a couple of years ago, But now we have the possibility to have AI in the middle with this generative server-driven UI. Which stack would you use to do this? In my suggestion, what I am saying is, of course, Flutter at front end is a great framework to do this because it's cross-platform, and here all of us loves Flutter, isn't it? Serverpod as backend. I am saying Serverpod because it's a big tool. It's a for large scale companies with a lot of lovely features that would be helpful for monitoring, for cache, for serialization, a lot of things that we would love. And of course, Gemini for the AI. But to be honest, we have possibilities infinitum. I mean, we can use Gemini, we can use our own models, trained models for company proposals. So we can decide whatever we want. Again, this, if we choose Serverpod, we will have Dart models in the backend where we can serialize to the front end. This is all the most feature loaded as if you are backend and front end full stack development, because the models are automatically auto-generated. And I think we have to say Serverpod is much more with health checks, data streaming, as I was saying, authentications, and logging, etc. And if we want to implement this with a couple steps, we have to think like we need to define models, we need to build the problem logic as we saw before, like to follow, to give instructions for Gemini or the AI, to follow the steps to select pages and the logic. We have to take care about the context and about not exceed the number of characters that the AI has can be returned in your request. But it's something that I have seen, at least in these proof of concepts, can be driven properly, let's say. Also, we will need to validate and call Gemini APIs, error management to see, okay, if it fails, we have to figure it out why it fails, if it is something that can be handled properly, or otherwise we have to see if we can handle it, and if it is not, to decide properly what is going to be the user experience. Because I think that's the most important thing when we create apps. And for the last, send the validate Dart objects to the client app and render it properly for the users. Okay, let's talk about server-driven UI fundamentals. As I was saying, it is a JSON properly formed that has to be, we have to define each JSON model for each component, which properties do we want to create, and also we have to define, we have to think in a scalable way, because we cannot break our own models each time. So thinking in order the models or components will create, because it's easy to add new elements or properties for a model. but it is not easy change the model each time, breaking the models, releasing new versions, and what about the people who doesn't update their render? It will fail, it will be ready for that. So, of course, this way to create apps is not free of new issues or tricky situations that have to planify properly. But I think this is something that can be driven properly in my point of view. So, again, let's think about how to integrate this with Gemini. I think we have to pass the context something that have to figure it out the best way is, what about the user information? If we want to give LLM information to decide what is the best approach to create an app, we have to be compliant with the regulations of privacy law. And if we want to do this, okay, we can create our own models and the issue will be fixed, but maybe we are not ready to do something like that. And if we want to do that, we need to create something in the middle to obfuscate sensitive information that can be sent in order to be compliant with our users. So, for example, the name or IDs or information. So that has to be hidden for the AI models in order to be compliant. Okay, so also there is something that for me is really powerful that from in server-driven UI is it is something amazing when you have a big category of elements and seeing how the engine can use this. The execution flow should be the request, the orchestration, generation, and rendering. Don't forget, with this, the flexibility is unlimited. And thank you so much for watching. And